And that's what this winter soldier investigation hearings is doing. It's showing us the images. Now, I have to tell you something. We broadcast the show today, right next door. We began with John Kerry's invoking the winter soldier investigation in 1971 in Detroit, as you all, some of you here, packed into the Howard Johnson. And then we had Camilo Mejia on. My brother David and I wrote about Camilo in Static, and of course Camilo tells his own story in his wonderful, important book, The Road from Al Ramadi. And as he sat there, chair of your organization, Iraq Veterans Against the War, I thought about this very young man with a very painful experience of going to war, coming back, refusing to fight, then being court-martialed and serving almost a year in prison in this country. If we lived in a just society, who would be behind bars and who would be free? And then his father from Nicaragua, and you think about what happened in Congress like that, because together with the war on terror, you need silencing, you need darkness, you need to fight transparency. What happened last night? For the 6th time in the history of this country, only the 6th time, Congress, well, you could say went dark, or certainly C-SPAN did, right? Because Congress held a secret session to deal with the issue of wiretapping, FISA, eavesdropping on Americans. When was the last time? 1983, as they debated the issue of supporting the Contra terrorists in Nicaragua. And then, as we went back and forth with soldiers here, veterans here, to the 1971 Winter Soldier investigation and the testimony then, at the end of the broadcast, we got a sad note from one of our broadcasters who said he was weighing taking us off the radio because of the words, because of the brutality expressed in 1971. But I really do think, though I agree it is painful, we have to redefine obscenity. Violence is obscene, and we have to expose it. We have to talk about it. We have to show the images, because I don't care if you're conservative, if you're progressive, if you're Democrat, if you're Green, if you're Republican. That is not the issue. I think revulsion at torture and violence goes across the political spectrum. And because we live in such a media-saturated world, if we don't see the images of what's happening, we somehow can convince ourselves that it's not. That's why we have to challenge the media to show the images. You know, right after the invasion, when it was April 2003, fall of Baghdad, the U.S. Marines pulled down Saddam Hussein's statue in Firdo Square. You all know it because we saw it thousands of times on television. Well, the proof of how problematic the U.S. media is, Wall Street Journal actually did a story on this. CNN, One News Network, which owns CNN and CNN Domestic and CNN International, had 2 different sets of images going out. They showed the statue of Saddam Hussein going out over and over and over thousands of times domestically for our consumption. But internationally, they knew they couldn't get away with that, and they showed a split screen. And the other half of the screen were the images of war that some of you know all too well. because the rest of the media and the rest of the world was showing that, and they knew they couldn't whitewash it there. I do believe that we would end war in this country if we simply saw those images from Iraq and Afghanistan for 1 week, even today, even in this 5th anniversary of the war, for 1 week, showed what we have been listening to hour after hour after hour today. For 1 week, on all of the networks, show the truth. Show the babies dead on the ground, show the women with their legs blown off by cluster bombs, show the soldiers dead and dying. For 1 week, Americans would say no. That war is not the answer to conflict in the 21st century. Democracy Now!